Builds. I'm actually going to video me working on it this time. So, I told you guys in the last video that I was actually going to work on getting more content for you guys, and here we go. So, S10 build versus suspension build. So I haven't talked, I guess I've talked a little bit in detail what I've been doing, but I haven't shown you what I've been doing. I should have did that. I do apologize. But anyway, so I'm getting to, last video you saw, I got the Moser made axle brackets, or yeah, so for the coilovers in. I'm going to be working today on getting, hopefully getting them all installed. We'll see how far I make it today. I'll probably have them in by the end of this video, we'll put it that way. So, alright, first things first, I wanted to get the truck level. So, like, great thing if you don't have it, and what I've been using, iPhones do have levels, don't get me wrong. They have, I have an iPhone, I know some people are Android, pick your poison, I like the iPhones. So, iPhone will have a level like this. I don't know if you can see it, where you angle it and it changes the reading. However, that's in pure degrees. It's not accurate enough. So if you go and download the Trimic app, actually it was in here, so let me get back into the main. Trimic makes, it's a Trimic toolbox. It's actually for manual transmissions. If you use their driveline angle finder, just go through the, it'll tell you in points of a degree. So like if I get rid of the instructions here, you can see like points of a degree. So you can get a lot finer detail on getting it exactly level, because a whole degree of movement is considerable. A lot of people are going to be looking at me or comment on this video maybe like, no, it's not considerable at all. I think it is. I can see it on a tape measure. So, and it's that, that half of a degree, you lengthen it, that becomes a pretty big area difference, or a pretty big difference in height. So I made sure the frame is level, front and rear. So I had to pretty much play with the tire pressures in the front, and I have a crossbar across the front frame because there's nothing in the front right now. The engine and everything, there's nothing there. So I'm able to get direct access to the frame. I put a piece of known straight bar on there, and then I put this on there and got it level. Same thing with the back. It is level. Leveled the rear axle as well. So everything is level. The rear axle is also true. I trued it to the back of the frame. I know it's probably not ideal, but because these are stamped steel GM frames, and who knows if this is exactly the same left to right. But the great thing about the 3-link is it's completely adjustable. So once I get it on the alignment machine, I can change the bar lengths to get that rear axle actually true, as well as to the front axle, so that way it drives straight and it doesn't like dog track or anything. So yeah, so right now that's how I'm kind of doing everything, is off the back of the frame. I know people comment on this video, I'm sure I'm probably doing it wrong, but that was the quickest measurement I had, so that's what I'm rolling with. Again, anyone watching this, I am no pro. I don't do this stuff for a living. I haven't really been trained in it. It's everything I've been doing all kinds of research into it and figuring things out, and a bunch of nights on the internet looking around and reading from actual professionals. So don't take whatever I say for gospel, and I could be wrong. It's just how I'm doing this truck. My first objective is I'm going to be taking the factory coil shock mount, shock mounts off. Those are going to go away. They're just riveted onto the frame. So the way I took out all the other riveted stuff is I just took a grinder, ground the rivet heads down, and then punched the rivets out, and then popped the bracket out. So I'm going to do that to both sides, get that bracket out of my way. Next, you'll see me, I'm going to take video of me doing all this. It's going to be a little bit weird for me, so work with me. These are actually just metal plate I got from the local scrapyard. So I got, it's pennies for this stuff. So, and it's nice clean metal plate. I've got probably 10 pieces of this or 12 pieces of this. It doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the frame from bottom to top here. Alright, and instead of doing it to this, because it's not all the way back, and I don't have any more of the plate to plate the frame, which I need to get more so I can finish plating it towards the back. But really, what I've done so far is going to strengthen it pretty good. I want to put the suspension, the coil spring crossbar on a thicker piece anyway. So this thick piece is it's actually thicker than the frame, but it is going to get welded to the frame itself, and then the crossbar is going to get welded to that. Alright, now that the factory shock mounts are out, I want to take and see, make sure I didn't budge the frame any, because it's very possible with how much hammering I just did, I could have done that. So, there's something good up here. Alright, that's good. Alright, we're back to where it should be. Next up is going to be getting the plates cut for the crossbar. And if anyone comments on, I just ground a whole bunch of stuff into the diff, I'm well aware. I've actually been doing it for a little bit now. I've got to take everything and clean it all out anyway, because it's full of grease and grime and just garbage. So it doesn't really matter to me. And yes, I know I probably should have covered it up. Don't care. It's going to all get cleaned out anyway. I've done it very, very often, and I've never had an issue. So, oh well. So as you can see, both factory shock mounts are now gone. And I'm moving on to the axle brackets for the coilovers. I'm not a professional welder, so don't block my welds. Now obviously this is still hot, that's why I got the vice grips on it, but look at that. Perfect fit, both sides. And there they are. Now obviously this isn't nowhere near the orientation they're going to be, they're just sitting there to cool. Next up is going to be, once they cool down, getting the coilovers out and start figuring out top bar and the plate of the frame that I need to plate up. Alrighty guys, we're back. So, they're both cool now, and now we're going to start working on shock placements. I got spacers ordered in the mail, they haven't showed up yet, for the bottom of this, to space the bottom of this shock out. So because they're not in, I'm going to use washers for now. It's not what I want to do, but when you have to improvise, you have to improvise. Yeah, so, I don't know if you can see it, but this will allow me to also, when I put the top brackets in, it'll allow me to do that with the shock. Pretty much run it inboard as well. That will allow for tunability of the suspension setup. Okay, a little off-camera work had to get done. I had to do some measuring and figuring out, but now I'm back at it. I found some square plate that I had from a different project, and to plate the frame with. So instead of using the plate I talked about earlier, I'm going to use this stuff instead because it's a lot smaller, a lot easier to work with. So it's perfect squares, and I had to actually cut the bottom a little bit at an angle in order to get it to line up with my frame. That is done, that is ready to weld in. So you guys are going to watch me weld it in now, and then I will cut this one for the other side, get that welded in, and start in on figuring out, I got to remeasure the rear end and make sure it's actually square in the truck, and then it's going to be crossbar and getting coilovers mounted in. So next up, so I know where my inner is going to be. Pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that axle bracket set up and level and welded in. Once that's welded in, I will be working with getting the top crossbar in and so on and so forth. Got the both coilovers, the brackets welded in. I showed you the welding up the one bracket. I did the same thing for the other side. I used my cell phone and got it in. Then I used my cell phone to get these straight up and down, which I'm going to do again before I actually weld them in, but I wanted to get a kind of a ballpark idea where I had to measure the frame to cut this. Alright, I finished up the welding off camera, so it is all welded in. The tube to the frame plates are triple beaded, everything else is double beaded. I know it's probably overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and just kind of overdo the welds. Again, I'm not a professional welder, so, but I think for never been having a class, I think they turned out decent, and I did have them in straight up and down. I changed them to a sideways configuration, and we'll show you how that works. Alright guys, and just to show you how it works, I mean everything's still on jack stands, the frame's still on jack stands, the axle's still on jack stands, but you can see it's compressing up and down the spring the way it's supposed to. And I'll do it from the other side quick just to show you again. So, it's not a lot of movement. But it is definitely a start. Now the next thing is I'm going to have to recenter everything and start it on Watts link. So that will be in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'm sure you'll describe every which way I probably did this incorrectly. But again, this is I've had an idea how I wanted to do it. I've seen how others have done it, and I just wanted to get this through, and I think it's going to work well. I've been researching all kinds of different designs and how I wanted to do it myself, and so far it's coming out exactly how I had planned. So I'm very, very happy with how this is going down. So yes, next step is going to be Watts link, getting the Watts link designed. I got to figure out how I want to do it. I got to do some more research on geometry and how best set it up. Apparently being able to adjust the roll center of it is a thing. I didn't even know that was possible. So I need to figure out how I want to set it up, and then and design the brackets, send the designs over the Mosier, have them cut them out, ship them to me, and then I'll be going in and getting it done. So I'll try to get that on video too. I'm excited. Thanks and have a good one. Bye.